Welcome to IAS project. In this video, we will be talking about Mesolithic Age. In our previous videos, we have completed all these topics. Now, let's start Mesolithic Age. We have divided Stone Age into three divisions. What were the three divisions? They were Paleolithic Age, Mesolithic Age, and Neolithic Age. And these divisions were mainly based on three factors. They were geological age, type and technology of stone tools used, type of subsistence base. So depending on what these three were in each of these individual periods, we have divided Stone Age into three parts. Paleolithic Age was also called as Old Stone Age, basically which started around 2 million years ago. Therefore, we call Paleolithic Age as the oldest part of Stone Age. The second part is Mesolithic Age, and Mesolithic Age started around 12,000 years ago and it ended around 10,000 years ago. We also call Mesolithic Age as Middle Stone Age. The last part of the Stone Age is Neolithic Age. If we look at what happened at the end of Paleolithic Age, we can know what were the climatic conditions at this time. Basically, Paleolithic Age ended with the end of the last Ice Age, which was around 12,000 years ago. We know that Paleolithic Age coincided with Pleistocene Epoch, and Pleistocene Epoch was nothing but the Great Ice Age. Therefore, Paleolithic Age was mostly Ice Age. And when Pleistocene ended almost 11,700 years ago, Paleolithic Age has also ended. So, the last part of Pleistocene was called as the last Ice Age, and the last part of Paleolithic also coincided with the last part of Pleistocene, that is the last Ice Age. So, when the last Ice Age ended, there were certain changes that were happening in the climate. Let's quickly look at what were the changes. First, when the Ice Age ended, climate became warmer and drier. Warmer means temperature has increased. Drier means rainfall has decreased. So because of the warm temperatures, what happened was grasslands developed in many regions of the world because warm temperatures are very suitable for growing of grasses. Within these grasslands, there were certain type of naturally occurring grasses like cereals. What were cereals? Cereals were nothing but those grasses which bear food grains. So we can call food grain bearing grasses as cereals. Examples of cereal would be rice, wheat, barley, corn or maize, oats, and others. So when these grasslands developed and cereal crops also proliferated, what happened was animals that were dependent on these grasses for food, their population has also increased. What are the animals that eat grass? They are nothing but herbivores. Examples of herbivores were deer, buffalo, wild cattle, and all these. So by the end of Paleolithic Age, all these changes have happened. Because of the increase in the number of herbivores and because of the increase in the area of cereals, what happened was in the next stage, that is the Mesolithic Age, a very primitive type of domestication of plants as well as domestication of animals has begun. Please note here that the word domestication has been used both for plants and animals because plants also needed to be domesticated. So whatever the crops we see today, for example, rice and wheat or cotton and all these, they were not the same rice and cotton almost 10,000 years ago. For example, 12,000 years ago, if you look at crops like rice, barley or wheat, the yield of the crop was very low, which means the food grain which was obtained from a crop was very less. Only after domestication of these plants for thousands of years, today the yield of the crop is very high. Yield means output. And obviously animals also needed to be domesticated because initially they were wild animals. So with the end of Paleolithic Age, Mesolithic Age has begun. So if we look at the Mesolithic Age, which is also called as Middle Stone Age, is basically a transitional phase between Old Stone Age and New Stone Age. Therefore, the order would be like this. Within the Mesolithic Age, we find certain features from Paleolithic Age as well as certain features from Neolithic Age. For example, Neolithic Age is known for agriculture and animal domestication. So if in prelims a question is asked which period is associated with domestication of animals and cultivation of crops, the answer would be Neolithic period. But in Mesolithic period also, we see that a primitive type of domestication of plants and animals was happening. Similarly, we know that in Paleolithic Age, food was obtained by hunting and gathering. This tradition basically continued in even Mesolithic period, because in Mesolithic period, the main source of food for them was hunting and gathering, not cultivation of crops and animals. So basically Mesolithic people were also hunters and gatherers. However, they practiced very primitive kind of domestication of animals and plants, which is basically a feature of Neolithic age. So in Mesolithic age, we find features of both Paleolithic as well as Neolithic. Therefore, it is called as a transitional phase between Old Stone Age and New Stone Age. We have seen that the timeline of Mesolithic age is between 12,000 years ago and 10,000 years ago. However, as we have stated in the initial lectures, we must remember that this time period is not same everywhere. In certain places, this may be a little early or this may be a little late. We have given the examples of Sentinelese tribe people who were living on North Sentinel Island in Andaman and Nicobars. These Sentinelese people are still living in Stone Age. So you cannot say Middle Paleolithic Age or Mesolithic Age ended at this time or Neolithic Age ended at this time. So basically this is an approximation or a generalization. So if we look at the climate that was in the Mesolithic Age, it was basically a warm and dry type of climate, because when last ice age ended in the Paleolithic Age, the climate became warm and dry. With this warm and dry climate, new age has begun, which we called it as Mesolithic Age. So basically Paleolithic Age belonged to Pleistocene Epoch, whose timeline was 2.6 million years ago to 11,700 years ago. And Paleolithic timeline is also 2 million years ago to 12,000 years ago. Therefore, they are almost matching. Whereas Mesolithic Age and Neolithic Age belong to Holocene Epoch. Holocene Epoch is the epoch which we are living in today. So Holocene Epoch timeline is, it started 11,700 years ago and it is continuing even till the present day. So this is one of the most important distinctions you have to make in the Stone Age. That is, Paleolithic Age belong to Pleistocene Epoch, but Mesolithic Age and Neolithic Age belong to Holocene Epoch. So when we said geological age is a factor in determining how we are going to divide the Stone Age, then we meant this one. So based on Pleistocene Epoch or Holocene Epoch, we have divided it into three parts. This was in Pleistocene, both of these were in Holocene. Similarly, we will also discuss type and technology of stone tools and type of subsistence base, that is food sources. I hope this much is clear. So we were discussing Holocene Epoch. Let's look at Holocene Epoch in a bit more detail. We said that Holocene Epoch started almost 11,700 years ago and it is continuing even till the present day. Holocene Epoch has been divided into three ages. We know that when we are talking about geological time scale, Eon is the largest part. Eon is divided into many eras and eras are divided into many periods, which are again divided into many epochs, and epochs are divided into many ages. So similarly, you can see here that Holocene Epoch is divided into three ages. They are Meghalayan Age, North Grippian Age and Greenlandian Age. Greenlandian Age is basically the oldest age within the Holocene Epoch, because Holocene Epoch started 11,700 years ago and Greenlandian Age also started 11,700 years ago. When you chart the geological time scale, on the upper side is always the new time and on the lower side is always the old time. Therefore, Greenlandian Age is the oldest part of Holocene Epoch. It started 11,700 years ago and it ended around 8,200 years ago. So approximately 3,500 years of time period. After Greenlandian Age, the next age was North Grippian Age. It started 8,200 years ago and it ended 4,200 years ago. And the most recent part of Holocene Epoch in which we are living today is nothing but Meghalayan Age. It started 4,200 years ago and it is continuing even today. This topic is very important from the point of view of current affairs. So let's discuss what happened within these individual ages very briefly. In Greenlandian Age, what happened was Ice Age ended when Pleistocene Epoch ended. This means that climate now became warmer and drier. These both changes were happening in Greenlandian Age for almost 3,500 years. Now, in the North Grippian Age, what happened was glaciers melted. When glaciers melted, there was lot of fresh water which is coming into the seas and oceans. Because of this, this freshwater addition to the seas and oceans disrupted the ocean circulations. What are ocean circulations? You must have studied in geography. What basically happens is, within the oceans there are ocean currents which distribute water within the ocean as well as in between two or more oceans. These help to regulate the Earth's temperature and climatic conditions. As these ocean circulations were disrupted because of freshwater addition from glaciers melting, what happened was climate became cooler. So these three changes happened in North-Gripian Age. In Meghalayan Age, which started around 4200 years ago, there was an abrupt and extreme drought of about 200 years, which began with the start of Meghalayan Age, that is about 4200 years ago. So Meghalayan Age started itself with a drought, and this drought was very severe and it lasted almost for 200 years. This event in history is also called as 4.2 kilo year event. Kilo year means 1000 years. 4.2 kilo year means 4200 years ago event. What happened 4200 years ago was an extreme drought happened with the starting of Meghalayan Age. And another thing that happened was cooling of Earth has also happened. The next fact is related to Meghalaya because the name Meghalayan comes actually from a cave in Meghalaya. The name of the cave was Mamulu Cave, and in this cave scientists found a reference point which clearly records the start of Meghalayan Age. So this is about Meghalayan Age. We just said that Holocene epoch has been divided into 3 ages. But who divided this? Let's look at some of the institutions that deal with geological timescale. It is basically the International Union of Geological Sciences that divided Holocene into 3 ages. And this was done very recently, that is in 2018. Whatever IUGS did was, it was done on the recommendations of ICS, which is nothing but International Commission on Stratigraphy. International Commission of Stratigraphy is basically one of the commissions run by IUGS. I think IUGS runs around 7 or 8 commissions, and ICS is basically one among these 7 or 8 commissions. So IUGS is basically the parent body of International Commission on Stratigraphy. So International Commission on Stratigraphy has recommended that Holocene epoch be divided into 3 ages, and IUGS, that is International Union of Geological Sciences, has divided Holocene epoch accordingly into 3 ages, that is Greenlandian Age, North-Gripian Age and Meghalayan Age. If we talk about IUGS, it is basically an international NGO and it works for cooperation in the field of geology. It has many scientists and other organizations. I think scientists from 120 or 125 countries are working within IUGS. Also, IUGS is a scientific union member of International Science Council. So we can say that International Science Council is the parent body of IUGS and IUGS is the parent body of ICS, that is International Commission on Stratigraphy. This is important purely from current affairs point of view. We will discuss about the features of Mesolithic Age and how Mesolithic Age people lived in our next video. But here, let's look at important Mesolithic sites in India. The first one is Langanaj, which is in Gujarat, over here. Second one is Adamgarh Hill, which is located in Madhya Pradesh. This is basically located towards the south of Narmada River. The third site is Bhimbetka Cave Shelters, which are again located in Madhya Pradesh. Bhimbetka is located towards the north of river Narmada. The next site is Bagod, which is located near river Kothari, and Bagod is in Rajasthan. We have many locations in Chota Nagpur region and central India. Also in Belan Valley, which is in Uttar Pradesh, we have a site called Chopani Mando. This is an important site for Mesolithic, and before that it also had Upper Paleolithic remains. It also has Neolithic remains. So Chopani Mando in Belan Valley is an Upper Paleolithic site, Mesolithic site as well as a Neolithic site. If we talk about South India, we have many sites towards the south of river Krishna. This is river Krishna basically. Here we have many sites including Kurnool, Hungsi and other sites. In West Bengal, Birbhanpur is a famous Mesolithic site. It is over here. We also have sites in Kaimur Hills. Kaimur Hills are basically located in the eastern part of Madhya Pradesh, and they extend into UP as well as Bihar. Kaimur Hills are basically eastern ranges or eastern extensions of Vindhyas. This is all your geography knowledge. The next site is Mahadaha, which is located in Uttar Pradesh. So this is Mahadaha. You can download this presentation on our Telegram channel. If you want to watch this video in Hindi, please go to IAS Project Hindi. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.